All right. So at one point I looked down at the clock and what we have left. I was like, hey, we got plenty of time. Now we really don't have a lot of time to do what's on the menu next, and that is a 1 to 10 confidence scale for the various backup quarterbacks who are going to be factors in this playoff chase. Let's start with Mitch Trubisky. We don't know how long he's going to play, but him in the game. And we got to do these fairly quickly.
Yeah,
so
okay.
We don't get bogged down in the first one.
I hear you.
We've talked about him a little bit. 1
Right.
to 10. How much confidence do you have in him coming in and getting the job done and helping the Steelers hold this playoff push together?
I'm going to give it a 7, right? There's always a part of me that wants to go higher than that. You know, the reason I'm just giving it a 7 is we're so late into the season. And like I said, you get to week 14. It's hard to come off the bench. I haven't done everything, and everybody else is in full swing football mode. But, do I look at it like, oh, Trubisky's in, now this Steelers offense is going to take a step back? Absolutely not. I don't think it's going to miss a beat. And like I said, I think there's a chance in some physical areas that he might be able to make a few more plays. So that's where I don't think anything's going to change for the Steelers offense, really.
I'm going to go 5 just because I need to see it before I'm going to come to any conclusions. I've had so many changes offensively recently with Matt Canada out, and you've got 2 offensive coordinators. One guy's running the offense, the other one's calling the plays. And I'm looking what Trubisky did last year. In 5 starts, he had 4 touchdown passes and 5 interceptions. I know that's hardly dispositive on what he's going to do, but it wasn't like he was lighting the world on fire last year, which is one of the reasons why they were able to eventually go with the then rookie Kenny Pickett. All right, C.J. Beathard. We don't know whether or not he's going to have to play. I wouldn't bet against Trevor Lawrence. But if Beathard has to play, he's been around for a while. He was not bad on Monday night. They could have won that game. That holding call that was borderline in comparison to other calls we've seen not made. You don't make that holding call, and the Jaguars potentially win that game in overtime. So if Beathard has to play 1 to 10, how much confidence?
He's played some ball, right? I'm going to go 6 here, right? Around that range, 5-ish, 6. I'm going to go 6. 1, because, again, it's you're playing the Cleveland Browns. That's one thing. 2, hey, Jacksonville, they expect the quarterback to make throws. Trevor Lawrence, you watch him on a week in, week out basis. I mean, he makes a lot of big throws, a lot of throws into tight windows, 10 and 15 yards down the middle of the field. So that's where I kind of look at it, and the way their defense is playing, and the way they play pass defense, I think there's going to be a little pressure on him to score some points, move the ball, do that. And I don't think he's as talented as a guy as Trubisky is. So, I'm going to go 6 with C.J. Beathard. He has played some ball. He should know where to go with it.
I'll go – I hate to – pick the same number, but I think you're right. So why force it higher or lower? 6 makes sense. And this Trevor Lawrence injury has done the Jaguars defense quite a service. It has obscured the fact that they gave up 491 yards on Monday night to Jake Browning and company in Cincinnati. All right, Joe Flacco, who very well may just carry this thing all the way to the end. Dorian Thompson-Robinson still in the concussion protocol, but Flacco played well enough against the Rams, even though they lost the game, to make people say, oh, why in the hell was this guy available when he was? Again, the Browns, 7-5. They've lost 2 in a row. They have the Jaguars this week, and C.J. Beathard against Joe Flacco could be the game. What's your confidence level in the former Super Bowl MVP?
Yeah, I mean, first off, last week was really good. I mean, when you take the circumstances, I watched the game on film yesterday. He made one mistake the whole game. And that was the interception, late in the fourth quarter where he threw it up into double coverage late and couldn't really get his body into it. I mean, they had to rely on Joe Flacco's right arm to try to stay in this game. This is not the formula Cleveland, I think, envisioned. They want to run the ball and play defense. They didn't want to go, hey, we want to drop back 44 times or something like that with Joe Flacco, who hasn't been on a team all year. But my confidence with him, I'm going to give him an 8. I'm going to give him an 8. I mean, again, the Cleveland pass offense, what they do, I don't expect it to be throwing for 400 yards anyways, but can he manage the offense and make the big throws and do all of that? Yes, he certainly can. The big thing with him is just don't be too aggressive, Joe. That's the big thing. Don't hold the ball in the pocket too long like we've seen in years past where you're just, I'm waiting for that. Oh, he's going to come open on the 60-yard post. Oh, he's going to come out. Boom, fumble, right? Or, oh, he's open by a half an inch 60 yards down the field. I'm going to let it go. No, there's two guys there. It was a half an inch open. That's where Joe Flacco has to watch himself. He can do everything else, but I'm going to give him a little more confidence than the two guys we've talked about already. So 8 for Joe Flacco.
I'm going to go 9, and part of it is, and this is the
what are you,
Price
is Right doing that to me there? I'm going to 9 you.
I love I have a little desire to see some indirect chaos emerge from Joe Flacco doing well in Cleveland, because I still want someone to find out why in the hell Joe Flacco isn't on the Jets. He played there last year. He wasn't horrible. They were desperate for anything. They went with Tim Boyle, who can't play, all due respect. Trevor Siemian, who can't play anymore, all due respect. I mean, one's a has-been, one's a never was, and those are your options when Zach Wilson flames out. Why wasn't Joe Flacco on that team? And I'd love to know, starting all the way at the top of the organization, Woody Johnson, why didn't he say to Joe Douglas, go out and get Joe Flacco? It's my team, and I'm telling you, go get Joe Flacco. Or was it possibly Woody Johnson saying to Joe Douglas, I'm sorry if you want Joe Flacco, I don't want him around here anymore. Either way, I'd love to know why Flacco wasn't gobbled up by the Jets, because think of how different. When you look at how Flacco played off the couch for Cleveland, and I know it's a different offense with Nathaniel Hackett, but still, what could Flacco have done if they had turned to him the day after Aaron Rodgers tore his Achilles tendon back in September? All right, Gardner Minshew. He doesn't even fall into the backup category. He's the guy. He's been the guy. Right? I mean, what's your confidence level in him as he makes a playoff push for the Colts?
It's high. I mean, it's 9, right? It's up there. Gardner, I watched that film yesterday. I mean, Gardner Minshew, he can play. We know that. I mean, he really can. He's got a great natural feel for the football game, right? There's some physical limitations. He's not a top-tier thrower. Like we talked about a little bit on Monday, I think that's the reason people kind of always like, hey, he's good. He plays well. We can do everything we want in the offense. But, man, if he could just throw the ball a little bit better, right? There's a few throws in every game. There was a few throws this Sunday against the Tennessee Titans where you'd go, a really top-notch quality starter, they hit that, and boom, those are big plays. So he leaves some on the field, but still, he's more than a manager of the offense, and he's slick, and he moves in the pocket well, and he makes a play with his legs every now and then, right? So he can run that offense, and Shane Steichen orchestrates it around him and knows what Gardner Minshew is. So 9 for me in that department.
I just would really love to know how teams perceive him, because I feel like they view him differently, and they view him as not good enough, and he's proving he is good enough this year, thrust into service with Anthony Richardson out for the year. And if they get to the playoffs, I don't know how you cannot give him a real chance somewhere to be a starter in 2024. All right, Jake Browning. We saw what he was able to do on Monday night. He looked like Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Scott Van Pelt said after the game, you look at the numbers, you just assume Joe Burrow played.
Yeah.
It's a pretty damn good Joe Burrow night for Jake Browning.
Right.
And they're still, that win puts them right in the thick of things, and they can still make it to the playoffs without Joe Burrow.
Definitely. I mean, I'm going to give him an 8. I'll throw him in the 8 category. And I definitely wouldn't have done that, before Monday night. I wasn't ready to go there. But it did look Joe Burrow. I mean, he even throws the ball like Joe Burrow. It's to a lesser talented extent, but still. I mean, in the pocket, the way he stood, the way he delivers it looks very Joe Burrow-ish. And what a great game plan and great job by Zach Taylor. I mean, they were so patient early on. I mean, there was one point in the game, Mike, right? Early on in the game, I was going, are they going to throw the ball past 2 yards today? Or are they just going to keep throwing screens out to and little just like stay passes to Jamar Chase and they're just going to play like that? And slowly but surely, here's Jamar Chase short. Here's Jamar Chase short. The defense starts to creep up a little bit and starts to open up some other things, and he gets in a rhythm. He did a great job. It was great coaching, great game plan by the Bengals. But I'll give an 8 for Jake Browning. Probably could be higher after that performance. I just like to see a little bit more, I guess is what I'm saying.
And that's why I'm going to go 7, just because maybe they feasted on a defense that has been good in the past but was not good on Monday night, because we saw what he did against the Steelers a week earlier. So let's see. Colts this weekend, Vikings the following Saturday, back-to-back home games. And it's funny. My son was like looking at that Bengals game. Like, once we know no Joe Burrow, hey, Cincinnati's not far from here. Hey, maybe me and a couple of my friends will go to that game. That talk ended after the Bengals won on Monday night, because my son's learned the hard way that all that time and effort and money that you put in going to a game, if it ends up being a loss, you end up wishing you hadn't gone at all. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.